Alongside Jesse Simonton, I'm Austin Price for the 2-minute drill. Jesse, Tennessee was in this thing for the longest time. Even in the second half, had it a 2-score game at 29-14. But in the fourth quarter, a couple of things unraveled. Tennessee ends up losing this one 43-14.
Yeah, I mean, the better team won. The more talented team won. Tennessee just doesn't have the horses and hippos, frankly. I mean, it's, Georgia's offensive and defensive lines kind of dictated the game. I think they finished with 240 yards rushing, 11 tackles for loss. They got pressure Tennessee couldn't touch from. That was the difference. The takeaway, I think, for Tennessee is, did they find their quarterback? Is Brian Maurer going to be the guy? Now, he looked really, really good for 2 drives. One on a double move where he found Callaway in stride, and then another where he marched him down the field. I think it was like 10 plays, threw some seeds, finished with a touchdown to Jauan Jennings. Had 0 yards passing in the third quarter. Obviously got the crap knocked out of him on that fumble play, but he showed enough promise that you say, hey, I think it's time to move away from 2. Jeremy Pruitt was not singing that tune after the game, though.
He wasn't, but he also doesn't. You didn't expect him to, because he's trying to, he knows he may need Jared at some point. He talked about Jared, his leadership and all that stuff that he brings could help them
win him a
football game at some point this year. I'll say this. Maurer, and I'll give him the 2 drives, but I'll also give him that 2 minute before the end of the first half where he did get him in field goal range.
Yeah, absolutely. And that ended up being part of the turning point of the game. Tennessee, they took that 14-10 14-10 lead, then it was 14-13. The defense was bend but don't break in the first half. They gave up a lot of yardage, but they held sturdy in the red zone. But then Samaglia has his first miss of the year, and Georgia goes boom, touchdown, and that was on the heels of just scoring a touchdown. And that was tough. And Tennessee actually came out in the second half and I thought responded well with a 3-and-out early, but their offense just couldn't do anything. They had I think I put it in the chat, 60 yards before that final just kind of garbage time drive at the end where they didn't score either. 60 yards for 2 quarters. You're not going to beat much less the number 3 team in the country, but even Mississippi State next weekend, they got to find some consistency.
They do, but I'll say this, and I said this going into the game. Maurer getting the start today against this defense, it's only going to get – and I know Alabama in a couple weeks is Alabama, but it only gets easier from here with what you see on a week-in, week-out basis. So if he was able to move it today, one would think he'll be able to move it next week as Tennessee games plans for Mississippi State.
Yeah, I would think that would be the case. Need some help running the ball.
Quick touch on recruiting before we get out of the 2-minute drill. Tennessee had the 3 Whitehaven kids, Big Omari Thomas. They all sat in the front row. Chris Morris did not make it in. Maybe at the South Carolina game, I would venture to say, but that would be the big target date with him being at Texas A&M next weekend for his official visit. Also, Reggie Grimes here. This is clearly going to be a pound the in-state of Tennessee from here on out in recruiting and try to lean on the in-state kids and say stay home, play for what they're trying to pitch as an improving program.
Yeah, I mean, Jeremy said it after the game. We're a young team. We still don't have enough horses, and the other team had more talent than us. That's why they're trying to recruit these guys.
And he said Jauan Jennings loves everything about Tennessee, and you need more like Jauan Jennings, guys that are going to play for the T on the helmet. He's Jesse Simonton. I'm Austin Price for the 2-minute drill.